Hi everyone, Stacy Whiter here on behalf of Campus Mortgage with part 3 of a 3-part video series on VA fees, practical examples of unallowable and allowable fees. Now just a quick reminder before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice or used in place of VA guidelines. Also, this video was issued on July 31st, 2018, and the information contained in this video is subject to change without notice. We now know what fees can be charged to the veteran. We know the difference between allowable and unallowable fees. Now let's take a look at some practical examples. And just as a reminder, there are three categories that factor into the maximum that can be charged to the veteran according to VA guidelines. So first is the itemized fees and charges, plus the 1% up to 1% lender flat charge and reasonable discount points. So keep that in mind as we're going through this example. And the itemized fees and charges are considered allowable, and the fees that fall under what should be covered in the lender's flat charge are considered unallowable. So let's take a look at this example. Here we have a total loan amount of $150,000. The max 1% is $1,500, and I'll explain that more in just a second. You have origination charge of $700, and then you have no seller credit in this example. So I've broken down the fees into three categories. We have the lender's fees, and then we have the settlement attorney fees, and then other fees. So here's where the $1,500 up here, the 1% of the total loan amount, come into play. Remember, you can charge the veteran any fees that are considered allowable, which are under those itemized fees and charges. So if we look quickly at our allowable fees here, we've got an appraisal fee, that's allowable. We've got the flood cert fee, that's allowable. We have the title search fee, that's allowable. Lenders, owner's title, those are all allowable. Same thing here with recording fee, tax stamps, an HOA setup fee, that's going to be allowable. And the termite inspection, now that one is a little bit tricky. So typically the VA considers pest inspections like they do any other unallowable fees, meaning they would need to be in the lender's 1% charge, or they would need to be charged to the seller. So in this case, we're going to say, well, there's no seller credit, so the seller can't pay this. Well, the lender or the borrower, the veteran, can't pay it either. Now, there are some caveats in different states, so be mindful if you're in a state where that's different, but in most states, it can't be charged to the veteran. So in that case, either you need to lender pay the fee, or you need to make sure that termite inspection is covered by the lender's 1%. So we just went through all of the allowable fees. So those really don't matter. Those can be charged, no problem. The next thing to do is to take a look at the lender's origination. So in this case, we have $700. So that means if the lender is only charging $700 for origination, when remember they can charge up to 1%, you have $800 left over that you can charge some of these unallowable fees to the borrower. So if we have $800 left over, can we charge this underwriting fee? Well, yep, there's $450. Can we charge the doc review fee? Well, $450 plus $275 is $725. Well, you have $75 left. So you could apply that to the closing protection letter, which is then going to give you $25 left, which you could add to basically the seller's credit. But what that means is that you need to make sure all the allowable and unallowable fees are correct when you're charging them on the loan estimate. So in this example, pretty much everything is okay to be charged to the veteran except for the termite inspection, or $100 of the termite inspection, I should say. And the reason why is because remember, you have allowable fees, which we already went through and covered those. Those you don't take into account. What you have to take into account is the lender's flat fee and any unallowable fees. The lender's only charging a $700 origination, which means you have an additional $800 that you can charge to the veteran, and those can be what's considered unallowable fees. So in this case, it would be the underwriting fee, the doc review fee, the closing protection letter, and you can charge about $25 of the termite inspection, and then the rest would have to be covered. So on this next example, it's a little bit easier because the maximum 1% of the loan amount is still $1,500. But look here, we have a lender's origination of $1,500. So that means the only other fees that you can charge in this case have to be from that itemized allowable list. So we have the appraisal fee, that's allowable. We have the flood cert, that's allowable. We have the survey, that's allowable. But then we get into the settlement fee, the closing protection letter. Those fees would not be able to be charged to the veteran. They'd have to be covered by the lender or the seller in this case, because those are unallowable. And they're unallowable because you're already charging the 1% max in the lender's origination. The title search fee is allowable, the title endorsement's allowable, obviously lender's and owner's title, all of the recording fees, and again, you come down to the termite inspection, that's unallowable. So in this case, you'd have some issues here. You'd either have to lender pay some of these fees and make sure that you're not increasing the interest rate to pay unallowable fees with over par pricing, because that's not allowed either. So in this case, you'd have to do some sort of negotiation either with the title company to see if they can reduce their fees, or see if you can reduce the lender's origination. The key takeaway here is to remember that you can charge the veteran allowable fees plus a lender's 1% flat fee. Or you can charge allowable fees plus a lender's flat fee and unallowable fees as long as the sum does not exceed 1% of the loan amount. So I get it, it's a little bit confusing. You kind of have to read it over a couple of times, but that's really the key takeaway here. And if you understand this, it makes it a lot easier if and when you're filling out your fees in your loan origination system to ensure that you're getting the right fees on the LE and you're not overcharging the veteran or charging veteran fees that they can't pay, which means when it comes time to closing, you may have to lender pay or eat some of those fees. All right, that concludes this 3-part video series. Thanks so much for watching. For more tips and videos, please visit campusmortgage.org to look for their weekly mortgage video tips designed for all mortgage professionals, including underwriters, loan officers, processors, closers, and post-closers. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.